Hello, everyone. Just want to say a quick thank you for clicking onto the video. Please do us a favor and hit that like button, comment, and most importantly of all, please subscribe to the channel. Enough of the chatter. Let's get on with the video. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Burner Account. We got a lot of Cowboys coverage this week. A lot of drama going on in the Big D. A lot to get into. So let's do the damn thing and get right into it. Julio. Cowboys come off another terrible loss to the Atlanta Falcons. Kirk Cousins out here putting on a show in Atlanta. And you walk away from that game with Dak injured, hamstring, and his hand. You got CD with something going on with his shoulder. You're missing Micah. You're missing Tank. What did you let's just get right into it, man. The Atlanta game. What did you think about that game? What were your thoughts? Like, who would you say did well and who would you say just was a slap dick on Sunday?
I mean, for me, clearly the only people that did well were the Atlanta Falcons. Our Cowboys, Dak put it very, very bluntly in this little leak on Twitter, on Instagram, on almost every social platform where you see him mouth, "We fucking suck," because that's what that's what we are right now. We're a team that fucking sucks. We don't have a team right now. We have no O-line. Defensive line continues to struggle. The only bright spot that we have on our defense is Overshown, and that's when he's able to make a play, and when he's not, I mean, he's doing so many other things that he can't get everywhere. There's no fight, there's no dog in any player on the Dallas Cowboy roster right now. It's hard to say as a true Dallas Cowboy fan, as a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan that loves this team, that every week when you guys ask, and I'm the one that always says, yeah, we're going to beat them 40-something to nothing. We're going to put up a 40 burger on these boys every single week, and we're going to win this next game. It's getting harder and harder to back up this team the way that I normally would. It's just one of those things where it's really disappointing. And then, of course, you have Jerry Jones, who was on The Fan this morning, 103.5 The Fan, for those of you that don't know.
105.3.
105.3 The Fan. That's one of our local radio sports talk shows. He was on there this morning talking about how he still has confidence in this team. We have a real good, solid team. We have good players on this roster. We are going to be able to. He has confidence and believes that this team that we have, that we put together, this roster that he's put together, is going to take us where we need to get to. Which I don't know what the hell he's looking at, but as far as I can tell, we ain't doing shit right now. Not a damn thing.
Nothing.
And it's heartbreaking as a Cowboys fan. Heartbreaking. And then we go out and supposedly he had dropped the little gem during the show talking about how we're going to acquire a really good receiver. Those were his words. We're going to pick up a solid receiver. And then we end up picking up Jonathan Mingus or whatever the fuck his name is.
Mingo.
From Carolina. Mingo.
Oh, Munger.
We end up picking his ass, and it's like, who the fuck is that? I don't know who that is. I've never heard of this guy. And then apparently he was great in the 2023 draft. I think you mentioned that he was drafted in the second round. Is that right, Joe? So
yeah, man, I think it was a second round pick.
So for me, it's like, I don't know who the fuck that is. I don't know how that's going to change anything. Because right now, the Cowboys, we just look sad, man. That's just the plain and honest truth. Sad.
Yeah, I agree. Bright spots defensively. You said, hey, the only bright spots was
Overshown.
Overshown. I would say Overshown, Kendricks, and Osa Odigizua always, he's making plays when he's out there. Um, but you're looking at like Diggs is making business decisions. We saw that against the 49ers. Um, I think the coaching right now, I don't know that the team's necessarily quit on Big Mike, but I do feel like the coaching is starting to get real questionable. Like it's 4th and 2 on your end of the field, and you go for a fake punt instead of letting your $60 million quarterback get a crack at a 2 yard attempt. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you let Brian Anger throw a ball to Godwin, or Goodwin or whatever, and there's such a low probability of that play working, and it almost got picked for a pick six.
I mean, it just shows that you don't have confidence in your $60 million quarterback.
I don't think they have confidence in anybody on this team. That's the problem. Is we pay these guys this money, and they don't have confidence in players. You just signed CD to a big contract. Now, granted, he was hurt at the end of the game, but you're throwing the 49ers game and the Atlanta game on big 4th down plays. They end the game on plays where like Kevontae Turpin's getting the football. Why? Kevontae Turpin's your smallest receiver. He's not that guy.
5'2".
You know what I'm saying?
Probably.
He
looks
not
5'2" on the field.
He's not the guy that you need to be trying to get clutch catches from. Tolbert looks like ass. Brooks, I'm not excited by. Cooks, he's out. CD's out, and you go bring in Jonathan Mingo to do who knows what here. He couldn't cut it in Carolina, and we're gonna make a star out of him. Like, and we gave up a 4th for him, so we've given up a 4th last year for Trey Lance. That looks like that was a waste of a pick because Trey Lance isn't even going to see the field unless Carson. I said Carson. He reminds me of Carson Wentz. Unless
Wow.
Cooper Rush, unless he gets hurt, and then you have another 4th rounder this go around. I mean, that's what I'm telling you. Like, this team just looks like they're in panic mode. Jerry Jones trying to sell that hopium to everybody. You know what I'm saying? He's really out here trying to peddle the Cowboys are in it to win it. I have faith in this team. The last time we were 3-5, we went on a run and made it to the playoffs. Blah blah blah.
In it to win what, bro?
This team is not that team. They don't have that makeup. They don't have that chemistry. A couple weeks ago, you had Micah and Diggs kind of going over their top 5 quarterbacks, and Dak was nowhere to be found. It might have been top 5 or top 10, and they left him off the list.
It was top 10.
They left him off the list, and people were butthurt. And it's like, why? What has Dak done this year to show you that he's a top 10 quarterback? He has flashes of it, but he's not a consistent top 10 quarterback. He's just not. And that is
honestly
what it is.
They're not wrong in not ranking him. However, who are they to talk? You're part of a team that sucks completely.
Yeah.
So why are you even rating? Why don't you rank yourself? Where are you at, Micah? Where are you at, Diggs? You got called out and you didn't like it. So I mean, why are you ranking your teammate? Rank yourself. Or how about this? Go practice. Go do some more practicing. How about that? Instead of ranking people on the shit.
He's gonna say we could talk about these nuts. That's what he's gonna say.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is they're more worried about all this off the field distractions instead of what's going on the field. And I'm not saying they don't give a damn, because obviously as a professional, you give a damn. You know what I'm
No,
saying? Like if you're a competitive person, you care that y'all suck as a team. You care that you're not showing your best week in and week out. Like that bothers you.
this
But
this
it's
this
they're all distracted, man. They're all worried about all this other stuff. They got a coach that's a lame duck. They have coaches that are lame ducks. Like there's no stability. There's no foundation for this team. It's basically at this point 3-5. The season to me is over, and we'll get into that in just a short while. Where do you see any more wins coming in the future for
I
this
don't
team?
I don't. And back to circle back to what you were saying, they don't care. Being professional, that it doesn't nowadays that doesn't matter, bro. It does not matter. What matters to them is money. You've seen it time and time again. Pay me, pay me, pay me. That's all they care about. Once they get paid, they ain't shit.
But you still have to perform well to get paid.
You're supposed to perform well, but once they perform well to get paid, and once they get paid, it fucking stops. We've seen it with Zeke. We're seeing it with Dak. It's a cycle, bro. It
Doc,
happens.
you talk about distractions. The other distraction that came out before the game was, hey, Zeke's not even going to Atlanta with the team. Well, what the hell happened? All these reports start coming out. Zeke's continually tardy to team meetings. He's missing team meetings. He's frustrated by the lack of leadership. He's kind of like, hey, I came in here to kind of lead the way. That way Rico Dowdle can take the reins from me. He hasn't taken them from me. Why are y'all not showcasing me more? I need more play. I'm like, bruh, you had 3 yards of carry talking about you need more play. That's ridiculous.
Right.
Now, I will say this, Rico Dowdle did fairly well this week, being the primary back. We saw some Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook looked okay. I don't know if it's just he's completely washed or this offensive line just ain't it. But Dowdle was hitting the holes hard. I think he ended up with a nice double digit run. It's kind of sad that your quarterback has the longest run from scrimmage this year for your team, and then on that run, he jacks up his hamstring, and now he's on injured reserve for at least 4 weeks. Could be longer. Michael Parsons been out with his high ankle sprain. Like we just cannot catch a break, and I don't feel like this team has anything to look forward to moving forward. Like as fans, what are we invested in now? I'm losing interest by the week. The garbage time 27-21 final, it's a false bravado kind of score that you're getting there. That's not really what happened. It wasn't that close of a game. It just wasn't. Atlanta should have killed this team. And, they made some mistakes as well. But it's like, bro, why do we, what can you tell the Dallas Cowboys fans to give them any reason to continue watching fully and investing fully week in and week out their time, their money, their energy into these Cowboys? Like, what do you sell? What do you give to this fan base at this point?
You can't really sell anything, but it's up to us fans to show that we're frustrated and we're done with this shit. However, that's never gonna happen when you have diehards that keep going to games, diehards that keep going to uh, tailgates, and in record numbers. They don't. It for our fan base, it doesn't matter as long as we're there at the game having a good time, and it just doesn't matter, and it should matter. If you're, it's crazy to support something that doesn't give a fuck about you.
It's like being in a toxic relationship.
It's being in a one-sided relationship to where you're giving it your all, and the other person is just like, fuck it. It's not a.
Oh, I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna change.
No,
I'm gonna be different.
No.
And then what happens? They still smacking you around, cheating on you.
Yeah, same thing.
You all on their phone, catching them doing all this nonsense on the side. Why? Because they ain't trying to change who they are.
No,
and that's what these Cowboys are doing. They're holding around on you, bruh. They're holding around, and we're just like, oh, they're gonna change. They're gonna be better.
It was just that one time. I mean,
it was just one season.
Bro, it's been 30 freaking seasons, bro. 30.
Damn near.
3-0.
Damn
3-0,
near.
bro. And at some point, like, I'm not a jump ship type of guy, but I'm not going to watch, and I don't care. If you don't care, I don't care. And that's plain and simple, bro. Nowadays, it's all about money. It ain't about championships. It ain't about going to playoffs, division champs. None of that shit matters to them, bro. As long as they get paid, they can do their dream, that this is their whole dream, their life's dream, to play football. They're playing football, they're getting paid. That's all they care about. They don't give a damn. If you think they really care if we go back to a Super Bowl? I mean, I
will hope.
I would, yeah. I would agree with that. I would hope that they do. But there was one thing that they did say on the show earlier today, and the show being the fan show this morning. After all that spewing from Jerry, what he was talking about, and still having belief in the team and this and that and the other, and he was already done for his segment on the show. The guys were like, at this point, I don't even think that it's about money for Jerry, because they are one of the highest grossing teams in the NFL still, even though we're not even performing that well right now. But I think it's more or less, he just wants us to be relevant, to be in the news, to be something that everybody wants to talk about all the time. That's all he wants.
That's why after the game in Atlanta, he never speaks after a road game.
Never.
After the road game in Atlanta, he was like, oh, we're definitely buyers. I don't see any reason why we should be sellers here. And I'm like, are you retarded? Like, do you have dementia?
Sit your ass down.
I don't
sit your ass down. Stop fucking talking. Stop saying shit.
I don't know if y'all noticed, but in the beginning of that, like when he first started talking, it sounded like he was about to cry.
Yes,
it sounded
he was
like
talking about Michael Irvin and
yeah.
You don't have no Michael Irvins on this team.
No,
you ain't got Troy Aikman. Hey, you don't have Emmitt Smith. You don't have nobody from that team anymore.
The one that wears 88 now ain't nothing like the 88 that we grew up with. And I'm stating facts. I'm not hating. I'm stating facts. And our 88 was damn near almost on cocaine every damn game. So
allegedly.
Hey, cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Allegedly. Everybody was doing coke back then. Everybody.
Allegedly.
Bruh. It was wild back then. But I think ultimately what we need to do is we need to just admit to the fact that this is a rebuild. You have to embrace the fact that it's a rebuild. Jerry doesn't want to bring that word up because he's afraid that relevancy will go away. He's afraid that people will give up on this franchise. You imagine you go 30 years damn near without a championship, without making it back to a championship game.
Yep.
And then at the 30-year mark, you're like, oh, by the way, we're gonna have to start from scratch again.
But
Bruh.
if
Bruh.
it's a rebuild, here's my me thinking, me being, I wouldn't say I'm as busy savvy as Jerry Jones, but I like to think I have common sense. If I'm gonna rebuild a team, I need money, right? I need a lot of money if I'm gonna do a true rebuild. Why the hell would you pay 2 stars that are playing like absolute dog shit right now? Why would you do that?
I don't think he paid them with the mentality of they're gonna play bad. Like I really do feel like I don't think they fully believe in Dak, but I think the front office is kind of like, where are we gonna find something better? Because if we go to somebody like a Cooper Rush or a Trey Lance, you're basically admitting again, this is a rebuild.
You had
to put on a facade.
You wasted your money.
They were willing to spend that money, but now at this point, all you can hope if you're a Cowboys fan is maybe Dak will waive that no trade clause.
Okay, wait, hold on. Let me put it to you like this. So we're at work, right? And your employer has invested all this damn money into you for training and whatnot and whatever to get you, I don't know, let's just say, let's call it a sales job. They trained you to get 50 sales a week, right? And you come back and you do 2 or 3 a week. How long do you think you would be around doing that, doing those numbers when they've invested all this training to get you up to 50 sales a week?
But those numbers, like that's not how this situation plays out, right? Your hypothetical doesn't match because a more accurate hypothetical would be they're paying you to do 50 a week. 1 week you do 100. 1 week you do 50. 1 week you do 60. Week you do 10. 1 week you do 20.
That hadn't been like that this season. It's been consistent suck the whole season.
This year. But that's what I'm saying. This year.
That's what I'm saying.
They're paying him on what we've seen and what we anticipate you're going to provide moving forward. They didn't pay him at the start knowing that 8-9 weeks into the season he was going to be playing like this. That's not how that worked. They paid him at the start thinking, hey, he's been fairly decent for us. He's probably the best option we have outside of drafting. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of who would you bring in here as your quarterback.
I'm just saying fairly decent doesn't win championships. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, fairly decent has won championships.
It doesn't.
It's not necessarily consistently going to get you a championship, but it's been done. And I think that's what this team and the front office think is. He's just good enough to make us dangerous. He's not going to win it for us on his talent, but you couple his bus driving talent with the guys that we can put around him.
I mean,
and maybe we can ride that one streak into the Super Bowl.
You can look at the history.
That's what they see in that.
You can look at the history of the past let's say 4 or 5 Super Bowl champions. Their quarterback was more than just decent as leading them to a Super Bowl victory. And I mean, you can't argue that if you look at the past champions. The past 5 Super Bowl champions. Dak was nowhere near that caliber or that level.
Dak was a runner-up MVP last year.
Stop with that bullshit, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry. I gave you a fact. My bad. My bad.
Because of stats. I'm not. Stop.
What?
No.
Was he or was he not? Julio was he or was he not?
He was.
This is like
He
you saying.
was.
Oh, this is like you saying a win is a win is a win. It's just no.
Is a
No.
win
It's
a
true,
loss?
though.
No.
A win is a win. There's no false. There's nothing false about
Man,
that. A win
whatever, bro.
is a win.
No.
You're
A
trying
win
to
is a win.
style point it. That's your thing. You're
No,
trying to
you're
style
trying
point
to style
everything.
point it. It's not. No. Mm-mm. You're saying that
Again, I'm also not going to go into the whole digging into a rabbit hole of what quarterback we
Right.
would bring here, because we've had that conversation plenty of times before, and maybe, as far as I'm concerned, from what I've seen in the league so far, I would pick maybe 2 or 3 quarterbacks ahead of Dak. That's it. No more than that.
Right.
And that's just the truth. There's nothing that's, oh my God, Dak is that much of an ass that I don't want him on the team. He is good enough to get us to where we need to get to, but he can't do it by himself. It's a team game.
man.
It's a team game.
Bro, I guess y'all forget. Never mind. Okay. All right. All right.
I've always told you Dak's a bus driver. You're never gonna win a game strictly based on Dak's talent alone.
By himself.
I've always said that. I'm a realist when it comes to Dak. I'm not gonna say he's dog water, but I'm not gonna say that he just gives you this humongous edge. If he is on, he gives you as good a shot as damn near anybody in the NFL to get you a win. The problem is it's not consistent week in and week out. Sometimes it's like you don't know what Dak you're going to get. Now, once you get into the playoffs, you definitely know what kind of Dak you're going to get. But up until that point, that just is what it is with Dak. And that's why this team signed him, because they're like, hey, if we can get him on a heater and we surround him with some talent, maybe we can get lucky, because that's how the Cowboys think. We can get lucky and ride a wave into the Super. Everything falls in line just right. Ball bounces the way we needed to one time. We're looking at a championship game or a Super Bowl game. That's how this front office thinks. They don't think like big picture of, hey, let's not rely on luck. Let's help that. Nah, they're like, we don't need to. You know, we don't need to fully commit like to
at the
this,
crap
that, and the
scene
other.
shooting crap.
We got Jonathan Mingo. Yeah, we're gonna get him some help, some great help.
Jonathan Mingo.
Yeah.
Well, hell, we ain't getting Dak that help. Dak's out for a month.
Shit out of here, bro.
We're giving that help to Cooper Rush. That's what we're bringing in here. And then here's my prediction: we're bringing in Jonathan Mingo like we did Dalvin Cook, and he'll never see the field.
He'll be on the practice squad.
Yeah,
bro.
Till like
all the other receivers we got over here
until week 15, and then they'll finally be like, "Oh, let's activate him and see what he can do on week 15."
And he'll get hurt. That'll be the end of that.
We were getting him ready for next season.
We just needed to get him. We just needed to get him familiar with the playbook. That's all.
What the fuck are we doing with this?
I can hear it.
Organization?
I can hear it already.